So we're at Chankaska Creek Ranch Winery in Kasota, Minnesota. Hey, pretty good,
yeah. Pretty
close. And we're with head winemaker Mike Drash, formerly trained, classically trained, California-based trained. I don't know. He's a winemaking guy for years ago. And so we're here. We're going to talk about his one of his nice wines, a Marquette wine. Why don't you walk us through a tasting?
Yeah. So this is one of the main reasons I moved to Minnesota to make wine is the grape Marquette. So Marquette is a grape that was developed at the University of Minnesota. It's a cross between Pinot Noir and Frontenac. So people know Pinot Noir. Frontenac is this really cold, hardy, deep red wine. So when you cross the two, what I love about it, it's almost kind of Grenache, Syrah-like. It's like a Rhone wine. And I think it has a huge future. I think it can make world-class wines, and that's kind of our goal with it. Pour you a little bit.
Now, a lot of people come into our winery tasting rooms and are asking for this big, bold Cabernet-style wine. Are we getting close to that here yet?
Marquette, Marquette reminds me of Pinot Noir because it's a cross of Pinot Noir. I mean, some people can make a Pinot Noir very light and delicate, and some people will add a little Syrah to their Pinot to make it darker. And I think Marquette is more, it's not Cabernet quite in its tannins, but to me it's kind of like a bigger Syrah. That would be my best comparison.
Before we taste it,
yep.
What makes you excited about this grape here? You know, there's a lot of folks making traditional varietals, a lot of vinifera. We're in a new wine region. This is a new grape, pretty brand new, 2005. What makes you excited about making wine out of this grape?
I think that it reminds me of world-class wines, and that's the first wine. It's the first varietal I've tried outside of California, from whether it's Virginia or New York or wherever. It reminds me of a world-class wine, and the viticulture side of the business is so new here. I think the learning curve is very sharp. I mean, it doesn't produce a whole lot of fruit, but what it does, I mean, it has smaller berries, like a vinifera grape. We can get 24, 25, 26 bricks, which helps drop that acid down. We have irrigation on our property, which we use to help keep the grapes kind of having a little bit of extra hang time, which again drops the acid out. This is my first year working with it, and it reminded me of some of the best wines ever made.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, expectations high?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just got really pretty, berry qualities to it. Good acidity to, it makes me think that it'll age, for 8 or 10 years.
That is very nice.
Yeah.
So tell me about how you process this. I mean, what's your production secrets?
We did this past year. We did quite a bit of open top fermentation in puncheons or used barrels that are double-sized barrels. We knocked the heads off, and we fermented in a barrel like a small wooden tank.
Right.
And that really kind of gave it some seasoning. It wasn't. We did use one barrel, but most of them were older, 5, 6, 7-year-old barrels, and so you kind of get that seasoning, kind of that spice, that marinade, if you want to use those terms, before we even barrel it down. And I was pretty happy with the results.
It's pretty tasty.
Yeah.
So I smell a little of the oak in there, but
it's not overwhelming.
No, it's nice.
Yeah, Marquette, what I've heard and what I've seen, it definitely soaks up a lot of oak, so you have to be careful not to use a whole lot of new oak.
Now, what about tannin? I know the grapes that we grow here are kind of minimal tannin. Do you add any tannins to your wines?
This actually has a small amount of Cabernet in it, just to give it a little bit of backbone. But in 2014, we're trying to make one that's 100% Marquette. We'll see. I mean, that's kind of my goal. Yeah. I mean, if we're going to do Minnesota, let's do it 100%. Let's do it. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the future.
Awesome. So what do you call this wine?
So this is 2013 Reserve Marquette.
From where?
From our vineyard right here in our backyard.
And our winery's called?
Chankaska Creek Ranch Winery.
Cheers.